It seems David has a flair for choosing his people, Mr. Jensen. You have done me a great service today.
Glad I could help. Couldn't let information about something as sensitive as the Hyron project get in the hands of the wrong people.
No. No, we couldn't. So, Meng Yao told you about the project, I see.
A little.
I'm afraid words can't do it justice. To fully comprehend the ramifications of what's been created in Panchaea, you'd have to see it for yourself. And who knows? Perhaps one day you will.
So here we're in the room where, depending on how it went with you guys, with trying to save Farida Malik or not, but if you failed, she ends up being dead on the table here. And originally, like, now she's just dead there, but originally she had severed limbs and everything. It was more a gruesome scene to make it even more disgusting. Like
I think we even saw some of her like bowels sticking out. It
yeah,
was really gross.
Yeah. But we had to modify it because we were not complying with the Japanese ratings for the game.
And I'm glad that we did, because I know that a lot of fans who failed to save her were absolutely super upset about this. And I remember one person telling me at a convention that he went there, and when he saw her body, he dragged her out of here. He searched through all the streets of Hengsha to find a safe place for her, because you do not leave a comrade behind.
Must have been a Marine.
Yes.
The cool thing about that room as well is that it's one of our great showcase of a bit kind of like underground black market augmentation thing, because it was an important theme in the game and in some of the stuff we wanted to do, but in the final product it ended up not being all that present. And in that room you really see like all the mess, the blood, the awkward tools, I guess, and stuff like that. So
the other side of the medal, basically.
Yeah,
There's good, there's all shiny and stuff, and then there's the aftermath.
That's it.
Which you don't see.
That's far enough, Guilo.
Tong.
You disappoint me, Jensen. I thought we were friends. Then my hacker goes missing. You break into my place of business, and you don't even have the manners to knock when you enter a room. A lot of bell tower heavies looking for you. Any reason I don't just turn you over?
Yeah. Vasily Sevchenko.
Never touch the stuff.
You're wearing his arm. GPL device inside it. Let me straight to you.
Scavenged tech. Get you every time. Wrong woman, don't do that here. Sorry to say, the man I got this from wasn't in a position to complain. Bell Tower gave us his corpse a few weeks ago.
Bell Tower? Not Tai Young?
Tai Young's not the one grabbing people off my streets and giving me choice args, so I close my eyes.
Sevchenko had 4 other scientists with him.
I'm not wearing any of them. So maybe they're still alive, and maybe I help you out with this.
Go on.
I've got a pretty good idea where Bell Tower's been dragging people. Problem is, bastard's got my son. And he gets a bullet if I step out of line. See where I'm going with this?
Where's he being held?
One of my harvester boys will tell you all about it. Meet him in the sewers near the Alice Garden pods. Then, when you free my boy, come back and we talk some more.
I can hardly wait.
So this dialogue that you have with with Tong Si-hung here was quite challenging to write in many respects. It was actually one of my favorites, but it was very challenging because we had to react to so many things. We had to react to whether you'd killed the harvesters. We had to react
To Van Bruggen.
to what had happened to Ari Van Bruggen. And so there were all these variables that we had to do. And the one that we almost missed until the last moment was the fact that you might have played all of Hengsha 1 and Tong would never have met you because you could have snuck through the vents and eavesdropped on him. And I didn't catch that because the dialogue was always starting with, oh, you again kind of thing, like, oh, you've ruined all this. And how do we kind of explain that he doesn't know who the heck you are until you walk in here? So we almost missed it, but we caught it, and I was very happy that we did. But Tong was a fun character, very interesting.
And also at this point, like Tong, I mean, we just wonder how many players really make the link that the scientist Chevenko in the walk and talk at the beginning of the game that he has this really weird augmented arm, and now it's not Adam Jensen, Tong Si-hung has it right now. So because now you've played for about almost 20 hours, like to which extent, like
Yeah, because
You're
we've never
really
heard
right.
anything from the fans
No.
or forums or fan art or whatever in relation to that.
No.
So or even articles, reviews.
No.
I don't think.
it's either nobody remembered it by that time, or we
Or-
thought it was bigger than it is, and
Then-
people really don't care.
People were just like, oh, okay, cool. It's that
Okay, been there.
that guy with the mustache at the beginning. That's his arm.
The
But
Movember guy.
yeah, the Movember guy.
Another guy.
The room as well is a good example of something that was important to us in the game. Sounds like all my stuff started with something that was important to us in the game. So this was also important to us in the game. Was every time there'd be something mundane, like this is kind of like a boiler room or something like that. To always, not always, but as often as possible to give it something special. And if you look at all the dozens, hundreds, whatever of light bulbs on the ceiling,
I love those.
It's a bit that. Say that again.
I love those.
You like them? Yeah.
So nice.
Well, see, there we go. Thanks.
Yeah.
That's kind of like that was the goal. It's like it's so commonplace in video games that. Hey, this is a boiler room. Here's a picture of a boiler room, and then the level end up looking just like a regular mundane boiler room, or I don't know. The example I give all the time is it has to happen in the lobby of a bank, and it just looks like a boring bank. Yeah. And we always try to make sure that those places would have some spunk nonetheless. And this is what these light bulbs do.
The rule probably is that a boring room doesn't have to be boring, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
I want this for my bedroom ceiling.
I don't want to make it for you. Looks like a lot of work.
It must be expensive in electricity, though.
Augmentation demonstration. This time, patients attempting to access the 2nd Avenue Limb Clinic found their route blocked by supporters of the
So there's not a lot of computers in the Harvester Hangout, but one of them in particular belongs to Tracer Tong. We needed to establish his presence, first of all, for the link back to Deus Ex, but also because you could have, in different versions of this, depending on what you do, you might be sent on a mission by Tong to rescue his son Tracer. And so we kind of tried to put evidence around through emails and things about Tracer, his connection to the Harvesters, and foreshadowing how in Deus Ex 1 he's going to end up being kind of anti-augmentation. Yeah. And so we did it, and one of the computers here in particular belonged to him.
And thanks to Steven, because he was the one really pushing for us to nail Tracer Tong, and you came up with, like, I can't remember, you had a document at some point about how to do it right.
It's because we had this bonus mission that we were adding, and I really wanted to put a lot of emphasis so that the real DX1 fans would be able to recognize, and people who aren't, they'll play, they'll enjoy it, but I really wanted to send at least a message. Devoted fans, like, here's some information about Tracer Tong that you might not have known about, or stuff like that. Just little throwbacks are always fun.
So because of you, we didn't screw it up.
Yeah.
Before we take a break, I want to go over some issues. Accepted, followers. AIDS is on the rise, and there's nothing we can do about it. You know why there's nothing we can do about it? Because we're not doctors or scientists. And the scientists and doctors who are supposed to be finding a cure are doing jack smack shit.
Well, now we enter the Harvester hideout, like the group of Tong Xiang. Actually, they were supposed to be scavengers in Bangalore, but since we cut Bangalore...
we had the whole idea in Bangalore that Bangalore is like this technological city. It rose on the height of the technology boom, and then when it all fell apart, it busted. And so that you'd have these people who were scavengers in Bangalore who were taking the tech and repurposing it and trying to make a living off of that.
And they became the Harvesters in Hengsha, and actually they were inspired by the scavengers we see in the AI movie from Steven Spielberg, where all the robots are going to try to go for the parts they're missing, and that's why also the Harvesters have all kind of those souped up augmentations and everything. And I think also that they're kind of they were supposed to be the organized crime that was really related somewhat loosely to the triads of the X1.
By putting all the events of Bangalore, by putting all the events of Bangalore into Hengsha, the return visit, we were able to beef up Tong Si Hung's crime organization. And since he's a reference back to DX1, his son Tracer Tong is part of the triads. So the Harvesters became, the scavengers from Bangalore became the Harvesters, who are part of the triad groups in Hengsha.
Oh yeah, in that way. Okay.